Thanos as Quaritch, Magic Mike as Torek Makto. Pandora might have looked a whole lot different if some of these superstars signed on. And brace yourselves, the last one's gonna shock you. Let's get into it. Matt Damon's $400 million fumble. This Avatar casting saga kicks off with Hollywood's most expensive casting near miss, courtesy of Matt Damon, who turned down the role of Jake Sully. That's right. Jason Bourne could have been Torek Makto, and Damon wasn't just offered the lead in a James Cameron film, but a jaw-dropping 10% of Avatar's profits as well. That deal would have pocketed Damon about $250 million for the first movie, with Avatar raking in $2.923 billion globally. It's almost enough to make you feel sorry for one of Hollywood's biggest, most successful stars. Almost. Damon, fresh off the Bourne ultimatum in 2007, was hardly a struggling actor when Cameron pitched him. In a 2022 People interview, Cameron recalled saying, "I don't need a name for this. If you don't take this, I'm gonna find an unknown." True to his word, he cast Sam Worthington, an Australian actor so down on his luck he was living in his car. Damon's past paved the way for Worthington's breakout. So why did Damon decline? Simple. He had a scheduling conflict with the next Bourne movie. The real gut punch, he told People, was missing a chance to work with Cameron, who's directed only 8 films since 1984. Cameron, ever the Joker, teased Damon in 2022 to get over it, floating a cameo in a future Avatar film, but adding with a grin, he doesn't get 10%. F that. Avatar's $237 million budget was a gamble for 20th Century Fox. Damon's star power could have eased studio nerves, but Cameron's bet on Worthington paid off big. Imagine it on the big screen. Damon rallying the Na'vi with his goodwill hunting intensity. Would his fame have shattered Pandora's immersive magic? We've all missed an opportunity that later haunted us, making Damon's choice feel painfully familiar. But if Fire and Ash performs as expected at the box office, Matt Damon's bank balance will be somewhere around $500 million lighter than it could have been. Now that's not so relatable. Jake Gyllenhaal's Prince of Persia gamble. Next up on our list is Jake Gyllenhaal, another A-lister who nearly became Jake Sully. Hot off an Oscar nod for Brokeback Mountain, 2005, Gyllenhaal was approached alongside Damon, according to a 2010 LA Times report. Cameron got in touch with him to calm Fox executives sweating over the film's gargantuan budget. Gyllenhaal passed, likely in order to star in Disney's Prince of Persia instead, a video game adaptation pegged as a blockbuster. The gamble didn't pan out. Prince of Persia earned $336 million against a $200 million budget, solid but no match for the Avatar franchise's $5 billion and counting. In other words, Gyllenhaal took the supposedly safer option, only to watch Avatar soar into history. Cameron later admitted he wasn't all in on Gyllenhaal, saying, "Did I go out and try to woo them? No, I had my heart set on Sam." His sly strategy, placating the studio while betting on his underdog, worked like a charm. Still, you can imagine Jake Gyllenhaal's soulful gaze, as his namesake Jake bonds with Neytiri under Pandora's glowing trees. It's a tantalizing what-if, but again, we've all made choices that seemed smart only to see another path shine brighter. At least Jake made his choice, unlike the next 2 megastars. The final 3, Worthington versus Captain America versus Magic Mike. When Damon and Gyllenhaal passed, Cameron cast a wide net for Jake Sully, narrowing it to 3 finalists: Sam Worthington, Chris Evans, and Channing Tatum. Yes, pre-Captain America Evans and pre-Magic Mike Tatum were this close to leading Avatar. Cameron, who obsessed over Pandora's glowing flora for years, put these actors through a grueling gauntlet of screen tests with 3D cameras and motion capture suits. It's like a sci-fi American Idol, but with banshees instead of ballads. Cameron told Empire magazine that all 3 had strengths. Evans, fresh off Fantastic Four, 2005, $333.5 million, brought boyish charm. Tatum, known for Step Up, 2006, $114.2 million, oozed charisma. But Worthington, a virtual unknown, nailed Jake's climactic "This is our land" speech with a gravelly intensity that gave Cameron chills. "I would have followed him into battle," Cameron said, adding, "I wouldn't have followed the other guys." The casting process was intense. Cameron screen-tested the hell out of them, filming in full mocap rigs with 3D lighting to mimic the film's conditions. He explained, "I shot them in 3D with full-up lighting. I shot them the way I was going to shoot the movie, and that was my choice. And I couldn't have gone wrong, really, in that choice." Worthington, scraping by in his car, mirrored Jake's underdog spirit. In 2007, Evans was tied to his Human Torch role, while Tatum's dance movie fame didn't scream action hero. Cameron liked Channing's appeal and Chris's appeal, calling them great guys, but Worthington's readiness helped seal it. Needless to say, Avatar's $2.923 billion gross dwarfed Fantastic Four and Step Up combined. Evans later led Captain America: The First Avenger, and Tatum starred in G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, proving their star power. All three thrived, but only Worthington rode a banshee to fame. Cameron's knack for spotting untapped potential turned an unknown into a star, a reminder that blockbusters often hinge on a director's gut. Cameron's instincts clearly paid off, but which of these runners-up do you think would have been the better Na'vi hero? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's take a look at some of the not-quites for the role of Quaritch. Josh Brolin's villainous pass, Quaritch reimagined. Since 2009, Stephen Lang has absolutely owned the role of Colonel Miles Quaritch, Avatar's iconic villain. It's hard to imagine anyone else in that AMP, let alone Thanos, but Josh Brolin confirmed in a 2023 Slash-Film interview that he was offered the role. Incredibly, he turned Cameron down, due to an 18-month commitment involved. Think about it, Thanos saying, "Nah, too long in a mocap suit," while Cameron, who lives for epic shoots, fumes. Brolin joked in 2017 that Cameron called him names for passing, clarifying it was based on the project, not on him. He compared Avatar's grueling schedule to his shorter stint as Thanos in Avengers: Infinity War, noting Quaritch's role was a linchpin. Cameron, known for loyalty to actors like Schwarzenegger, Terminator 2, $520 million, rarely faces rejection. Brolin praised Lang, saying, "It was Stephen Lang who I knew, and I was very happy for him. He's amazing in it." Lang's scenery-chewing Quaritch became a fan favorite, but Brolin's intensity, seen in the Dune movies more recently, could have crafted a darker Colonel. This near miss shows how Avatar's marathon production deterred major stars, highlighting the practical side of blockbuster casting. Fun fact, Lang actually auditioned for Aliens in 1986, tying him to Cameron's universe, just not quite as closely as our next entry. Michael Biehn, no Cameron reunion. Cameron's loyalty to his Aliens cast sparked a juicy near miss. Michael Biehn, star of The Terminator and Aliens, was briefly considered for Quaritch. Biehn, known as Kyle Reese and Hicks, could have become Avatar's ruthless colonel, but Cameron scrapped the idea after hiring Sigourney Weaver as Dr. Grace Augustine, worried that two alien stars would make audiences think of a sequel to the 1986 classic. Weaver later joked that Cameron didn't want fans picturing Ripley and Hicks on Pandora, breaking the film's New World illusion. Biehn confirmed he met Cameron during pre-production and saw early Pandora art, but realized no role was open once Weaver signed on. Cameron wanted to avoid nostalgia and keep Avatar's identity clean. Happily, Weaver's grace became a standout. Her fierce compassion grounded the film's eco-themes and earned her a Saturn Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress in 2010. Biehn's take on Quaritch remains intriguing. His role in The Abyss proved he could play driven, unstable characters, hinting at a more conflicted Colonel than Stephen Lang's blunt force villain. Cameron had trusted Biehn in 3 earlier films, but choosing Lang outside his usual circle helped Avatar feel like a fresh chapter, not an echo of his 80s hits. Would a more multifaceted Quaritch have improved Avatar, or ruined it? Let us know what you think in the comments. Edward Norton's Na'vi or Nothing stance. Edward Norton's Avatar story is a principled gem that feels ripped from a Hollywood morality tale. In a 2019 Slash-Film interview, he revealed Cameron offered him a role in Avatar: The Way of Water, 2022, likely an RDA human, perhaps a scientist like Dr. Ian Garvin, or a soldier in the sequel's expanded human cast. Norton, a vocal environmentalist with a history of supporting conservation causes, refused unless he could play a Na'vi. He told Slash-Film, "I am friends with Jim. I basically told him, if I'm not a Na'vi, I'm not doing it. I'm not being part of the industrial world coming to destroy Pandora." Picture Norton, fresh from a Sierra Club meeting, planting his flag for Team Na'vi, unwilling to don the RDA's corporate badge. This bold stance is rare in blockbuster casting, where paychecks often trump principles. Cameron couldn't offer a Na'vi role, as The Way of Water's new characters were mostly human or tied to established Na'vi like Neytiri and her family. The sequel's casting focused on younger actors like Britton Dalton as Loak and returning stars, leaving little room for new Na'vi roles. Norton instead took a cameo in the Cameron-produced Alita: Battle Angel, playing the silent villain Nova, a role requiring minimal time compared to Avatar's grueling shoot. Norton's admiration for Cameron's eco-themes is clear. He called Avatar profoundly pro-environment. In interviews, Norton has championed environmental causes, like his work with the Maasai Wilderness Conservation Trust, making his Na'vi or Nothing stance authentic. With Avatar sequels planned through 2031, including Avatar: Fire and Ash, 2025, a Na'vi Norton remains a possibility, especially as Cameron expands the clans of Pandora. Mark Maron's mocap meltdown. A bit more out of left field with this one. The raw-humored podcaster, known for his introspective WTF podcast, described Cameron's Manhattan Beach studio as a Cirque du Soleil of stunt people in motion capture suits. Picture Maron, a guy more at home ranting about life's absurdities, dodging trapeze-swinging acrobats while trying to deliver lines about Tolkien biology. He quipped on his podcast, "Dude, I don't even remember the first one," and called the audition ridiculous, admitting he felt totally untethered in the high-tech chaos. Maron bombed and was relieved when Jermaine Clement, with his deadpan charm, landed the role. Cameron sent Maron cigars as a consolation prize, a playful nod to their mutual respect. Maron's WTF episode painted a vivid picture. Cameron's studio, filled with Titanic props and people flying on wires, felt like a museum of James Cameron. He marveled at the setup, saying there were tight ropes and cameras and people doing acrobatics down there all the time. The only cool thing was that museum-like room. Maron's 2019 audition came during his pivot to dramatic roles, like his turn in Joker, $1.079 billion 2019, which earned him critical praise. But ultimately, he was not comfortable with Avatar's tech-heavy process, where actors performed in virtual sets with 3D cameras capturing every nuance. Cameron's mocap system, detailed in a CinemaBlend interview, uses thousands of sensors to translate actors' movements into Na'vi or human avatars, a process Maron found disorienting. Josh Gad's Smurfy setback. Pre-Frozen, Gad nailed his live audition, earning a callback at Cameron's Lightstorm Entertainment studio in 2007. But when the team rendered him in motion capture, he looked like a tall, overweight Smurf, per his 2025 memoir In Gad We Trust. So the future voice of Olaf, the lovable frozen snowman, was told his Na'vi avatar was too cartoonish for Pandora. Joel David Moore's lanky Norm, with his wiry frame and earnest delivery, fit Cameron's vision, blending seamlessly into the film's aesthetic. Gad's self-deprecating humor is refreshing. I mean, who hasn't cringed at a bad photo or digital filter that made them look absurd? Gad recalled in his memoir that Cameron was thrilled with his live read, but the digital translation flopped. His audition coincided with his Broadway run in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, 2005 to 2006, where he had an agreement to leave for film roles, making the Avatar rejection a sting. Norm, played by Moore, has become a fan-favorite sidekick, appearing in both Avatar movies as well as in the upcoming Fire and Ash. Gad, meanwhile, soared with The Book of Mormon, 2011, and Frozen, 2013, dwarfing Norm's cultural impact. Gad's Smurf moment was a rare case of tech-dictating casting, as Cameron prioritized digital aesthetics over raw talent. Govinda's Bollywood bombshell. The wildest Avatar tale comes from Bollywood star Govinda, who claimed in a 2019 Aapki Adalat interview that he was offered a role and suggested the title Avatar to Cameron. Picture a 90s Bollywood icon, known for dance-heavy comedies like Coolie No. 1, casually naming the most successful movie of all time. Govinda said he declined due to a 410-day shoot and discomfort with body paint, predicting the film would take 7 years, an eerie guess since Avatar's development spanned 1994 to 2009. He added, "I gave the title of the film. I had informed him that the film will do really well," sparking headlines across India. No Hollywood source backs this up, though, making the claim a head-scratcher. Filmmaker Palaj Nihalani, a close associate, clarified that Govinda likely confused Cameron's Avatar with a shelved Bollywood project also titled Avatar. Govinda's wife, Sunita, laughed in a 2025 Times of India interview, saying, "I don't know when this offer happened. 40 years I've been with Govinda." The claim went viral, with outlets like Indian Express running headlines like, "Govinda says he named Avatar, internet loses it." Cameron visited India in 2010 to promote Avatar, but no evidence suggests he met Govinda. Now to some more credible missed connections. Chris Pratt and Chris Pine auditions that crashed and burned. The Avatar audition room was a star factory even for those who flopped. Chris Pratt and Chris Pine, future sci-fi icons, bombed their Jake Sully tryouts spectacularly. Pratt, pre-Guardians of the Galaxy, shared in a 2014 Time interview that he knew he lacked the it factor that the casting directors for Avatar wanted. Who hasn't felt like an imposter in a make-or-break moment? Pratt's self-deprecation is pure gold. He figured he'd be waiting tables after bombing Avatar and Star Trek auditions for Captain Kirk. He recalled, "They said they want somebody that has that thing, that it factor. I walked into that room knowing that I did not have that thing, and I walked out thinking I would never have that thing, probably." The rejection hit hard, pushing him towards smaller roles before his Star-Lord and Jurassic Park franchise breakouts. Pine's flop is even funnier. In a Far Out magazine interview, he called his Avatar audition a disaster. Imagine Pine, pre-Star Trek, in a drab audition room, reading lines about rallying blue aliens in a loincloth, feeling like he's auditioning for a bad cosplay contest. His nerves spiraled into embarrassment, and halfway through, he noticed the casting director smirking. Or was it pity? Biehn stopped, shook their hand, and bailed, later laughing. I was probably pretty bad. He admitted he couldn't buy into the fantastical premise, distracted by mundane thoughts like laundry. In 2007, Biehn was a rising star with The Princess Diaries 2, $134 million, while Pratt was a comedic sidekick in Parks and Recreation. Bihn's Avatar flop didn't stop him from nailing Star Trek, 2009, $385 million, where he captured Kirk's swagger. Pratt transformed into Star-Lord for Guardians of the Galaxy, 2014, $773 million, proving he had the it factor after all. That's the whirlwind of Avatar's casting close calls, from Matt Damon's $250 million miss to Govinda's meme-worthy myth. Timing, chance, and Cameron's vision all helped to shape this $2.923 billion juggernaut. But would Damon have outshone Worthington? Who would have made the best Quaritch? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our next adventure.